excellent entertainment production.
By John Shanley.
Once upon a time, there was a guy named Joe.
And this is the setup that will lead people down the wrong track. And I will explain that to you momentarily. Okay, we're now in the parking lot of the factory that Joe works in. And you need to pay fairly close attention because you're going to see a long shot at the factory. If you're only going to see it for just a second just before you see Joe versus the volcano, pay attention. You will see it later, and it's important. It is deliberate. And it is now. There's the factory. You only see it for a glimpse here, and then it's later.
Well, should we address exactly what that is supposed to represent? You can go ahead. I think people probably...
I don't know if how many people actually even realize. That is, you will see that later as the volcano god on the island.
Yeah, it's the face of the volcano god.
Right. Right down to the lightning bolt in the nose.
And the lightning bolt is a symbol that appears quite frequently.
Very frequently. But it's so obvious, it's almost to the point where you need to ignore it. He has done some other things, including right up here. This is, by some people, probably picked up as a continuity error. Pay attention. Let's look at the guy pushing him through the gate and the guy that follows him through the gate. Two very different guys. One is just one of the workers, the other one is a suit like himself. I don't believe that was a continuity error. It was too glaring, too obvious. I think he's trying to send us a message here. Now here's something I just found out today. See him raising his hands like this? He does this one other time in the film. On the raft when the moon comes up. I've never picked up on that before. It's just one of those things.
Well, it's, you know, it's the visual representation of Joe kind of surrendering.
Yes, exactly.
And there we have the lightning symbol.
Yeah, the typical lightning symbol, people walking, you know, and this is interesting. There's the face, close-up of the face of the volcano god and the place where he works. And I pointed out to Josh probably last week sometime, another thing that struck me about this is that, and you'll see it really as you get into the factory, you see the people, you know, just walking like they're going to their doom. I mean, it's miserable. It's dank, ugly, wet, dirty, dark. I'm sure it stinks.
Well, that's something there. The flower, that's going to come back later, does it?
Oh, you'll see the flower many times. Okay. I have worked in a place like this. It's amazing. Of course, it was many, many years ago, but I worked in a place like that. That's all I can tell you. And you will see symbolism here. Of course, they're descending down into the bowels of the earth. I mean, they're not up there. They're going downstairs. They're going down into the ground. Of course, here's more of the...
And not too subtle rectal probe.
Oh, and you'll see the rectal probe later, too. I just realized that today, too. It's just one of those things. When you really pay attention. Oh, I love this. The fire down in the bowels of the earth. That's the volcano. That's the volcano way down in the ground. Anyway, miserable, rotten place to work. I've been there, done this. It just screamed at me. Okay. Yeah, there's... Anyway.
Well, what did you think about the casting of Tom Hanks as Joe?
He fit the role perfectly.
Well, you know, at this time, you know, he had been known primarily for his comedic roles. He hadn't won any awards for, say, Philadelphia.
True.
Or Forrest Gump. Hadn't been in the Da Vinci Code yet.
No, he had not. There was some thought that went into getting him for this part. comedy is actually much harder to do than drama. So, so the fact that he could do comedy as well as he did prior to this told Shanley, says, okay, he's adaptable. He can do what I need to do.
I'm not arguing now.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I get wound up sometimes. Of course, you see the lightning everywhere, the emblem, which is not just the lightning flash, by the way, but it is actually the volcano with the lightning path on it.
I'm not arguing now with you. Harry.
Now, here's an optical illusion that you'll see. It's deliberate. It's a set piece. When he walks up to get his coffee up there, it is literally a ramp that he's going up, and the painted bricks and all that other stuff to give you the illusion of depth.
It's a forced perspective shot.
Yes.
But can he do the job?
Which will, happens in several other scenes as well, but this is one of those pieces. And it's so, there are elements of it that's almost painted. I mean, let's face it. I mean,
That's the shot right there you're talking about?
yes, okay. Yes. It doesn't exist in real, not that far back anyway. Yeah, it goes back, but not that far, so on and so on.
Maybe.
Oh shoot, what's his name? Dan Hedaya? Is that his name? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Dan Hedaya.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I like this bit back here to the left. You saw the main drain and the do not touch. I always like that bit.
I have to preface this, and people will pick up on this through the movie. I don't know a whole lot about Hollywood character main names and so on. So sometimes I'll just goof it, but I'll do the best I can. Here is the first, not the first, but actually it's the second, but it's one of the main. What's the word I'm looking for here? Previews of what's to come. Here is the statue on the island.
Foreshadowing.
What's that? On the land.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadow. Thank you. Of course, here's the volcano. I'm sorry. On the island, there's a sailing ship. Again,
he keeps apologizing because he's nearly bumping the microphone. He's getting really riled up. So.
And I'll try to calm down. Thank you. Of course, there's the lovely young maiden on the island, and so on.
This is the character of Dee Dee, the first character of Meg Ryan.
Correct. And she will be represented by the flower that was stepped on, or is best represented by the flower that was stepped on. Shanley uses symbolism throughout the movie.
You're going to explain more on that later?
Yes, I am. Well, actually, I can go into it now.
I'm not feeling very good, Mr. Wattori.
No, I won't. I'll have to do it later.
Well,
it's the only way it will make any sense.
Well, we didn't address the way the film opened with the
flower being stepped on.
I'm sorry, with the Once Upon a Time.
Oh,
and
true. Okay.
We didn't comment on that.
As I should have, as I've always intended to. I can do it now. People mistaken have frequently referred to this as a fairy tale. It is not a fairy tale. A fairy tale is a pleasant, colorful story with colorful characters, much like this. But in the fairy tale, the main character is rescued by the fairy godmother for no other reason than the fact that the main character is a nice person. It's the main character. This is a fable. It is a parable, if you will. It is a story with colorful characters, much like a fairy tale, but it is written and told to tell a story, to teach you a lesson, for lack of a better term. The author is trying to communicate something to you,
So what?
and he doesn't want to come up right out and say it. So he's painting it, and it's like an Aesop fable. You'll learn the lesson by listening to and watching the story. And that's where he's going with this. And he does it through the entire movie. I love it.
A little side note about Joe's lamp here. It doesn't have anything to do with the movie, this story. This lamp does not exist in real life, and you've spent many of hours looking for this lamp on the internet to no avail.
No, it's not there. I'm working on having it created. I would love to market it. I think, I honestly do believe that there's enough people out there that have seen this movie that would spot that lamp in a heartbeat and snatch it up. So I'm trying to create the lamp and market it. If I don't get in trouble for doing that, I don't know, but I'm going to try.
And take that.
And okay.
Do it now.
Oh, here we go. Gosh, there's so much. Oh, okay. No.
Good. It's okay. You can
Go
take
ahead,
your
go
time.
ahead.
You can take your time trying to get your thoughts straight
Yeah,
out. It's
trying to
okay.
there's so much happening here. Okay.
Why you let Wattori talk to you
We've
like
met
that?
Meg. We'll see Hidea and the other character here again shortly.
No.
But we're about to transition to the doctor's office. And up to this point, we're seeing drab. Think of The Wizard of Oz. And when Dorothy's in Kansas.
Yeah, the colors are very washed out.
Right, very deliberately so. And that's all about to change. Even in this scene here where look at this office. It's much like the factory. Watch it when he goes through the door. It's just like Dorothy opening the door in The Wizard of Oz. Here comes the world of color.
You mean this scene here when he goes into the doctor's office?
Bingo.
Okay.
It's a whole new world. And Shanley and I were born basically, I'm just 2 years older than him, and I didn't realize that until today either. So he was raised with The Untouchables on television. The voice of Robert Stack is so authoritarian. I'm sure that's part of the reason he was chosen for this role. Now,
Well, Robert Stack's voice scares the hell out of me, thanks to Unsolved Mysteries.
now there are things going on here. Of course, everybody is picked up on the duck. There, you'll see the duck, and you'll see the duck at the end of the movie as well. The point is, and I want to point out to it,
The duck that's over
the duck on, you see the duck on the
Joe's
mantle.
left shoulder on the
See,
mantle.
and above the duck on the mantle, there's a picture of a sailing ship. Disregard. Look at the fact that there are globes. There's a globe over the chair. There's a globe there on the bookcase. There are globes and maps throughout this movie. There are pictures and models of sailing ships throughout the movie. Nobody seems to have picked that up. Everybody's picked up on the ducks. But I know I hit it again.
It's okay.
But there it is. So you can just see the piece of it. But then when you look at the other side, there's a globe over there someplace. There are globes and maps.
What does the duck represent?
Well, the duck connects the two doctors. This is this doctor, of course. Then you see a duck at the other end, which is the witch doctor, and which, by the way, I love it because Ryan's character refers to this doctor as a quack.
I see. Okay.
So you tie them together. It's what you've done. Now, everybody thinks that there's three ducks. There's this duck, the duck at the end of the movie, and the duck on Randomir's cane. That's not a duck.
Does the particular painting that's next to Joe, is that a significant painting of any kind?
Only in that it represents a sailing ship. It's a journey, and you'll see the ship represents the journey, and the luggage salesman will reference that later on. A voyage, a real journey. This is the journey of...
Well, here Dr. Ellison is talking about Joe's past, about being a firefighter. This is very important.
Right, this is very important. Now, Joe was a firefighter. Shanley, unless I am greatly mistaken, was a Marine. I forget exactly where I picked that up, but okay, he's 2 years younger than me, and he was a Marine. So most likely he was in Vietnam. So he had some traumatic experiences as a Marine. And that is what I believe triggered this. His experiences in Vietnam most likely
perhaps you'll want a second opinion.
altered his perceptions of what is not, what is important, and what is not. And he is relaying that to you via this screenplay / movie. And what's beautiful in this is that he not only wrote it, but he directed it. So he has a level of control that he otherwise obviously wouldn't have. So he's gone a long ways to really pitch whatever it is he's trying to tell you, which I will relay to you in condensed version during the closing credits.
Well, Dr. Ellison just informed him that he had a brain cloud, which I always thought was a really clever,
yeah, I love the brain cloud.
fake medical term.
Okay, now Joe is about to exit the medical building.
There's some visual imagery here.
Oh, big time. Again, Shanley has tied the front of the movie with the end of the movie. Pay attention as the scene fades back. You will see, and I'm sure you've seen the movie before, so you know the character of the witch doctor. I hate the reference that he's called the lead man or what, the head, whatever, at the end of the movie. What's the character's name?
You mean the actor?
Yeah.
Nathan Lane?
Yeah, Nathan Hale. Anyway.
No, Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane. Right, Nathan Hale was a historical character. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I am historically oriented. As the scene fades back, it has to get back a little bit further, you're going to see...
On the left-hand side of the screen?
Actually, it starts on the left-hand side, but you're going to see the whole thing as it gets further back. Of course, you'll see the stairway represented through the window. That is a modification of the lightning bolt on the nose of character, but whatever. As it fades back, this whole wall is Nathan Lane's character. When he's got his hands up with those finger extensions on his hands, there's his headdress. That's his face. That's his mouth. That's his face.
Yeah, the door is his mouth, and the two patterns to the right and left are his hands. In case you didn't know where to look, because I didn't know what you were talking about at first either.
Yeah, it's and that's deliberate. That is painted on that wall. It's just one of those things. I don't know how many picked it up, but I know that it was deliberate, obvious. And it's tying the witch doctor, tying the two doctors together, which is, he did it with the ducks, and he's doing it here. And he does this through the movie. He'll just make these connections and weave it all together. Now here he's attempting to save the daisy that was stepped on earlier. Of course, he has a different perspective on life now because he's just found out that he's going to die in 6 months or less. Of course, what he's doing is futile. The daisy's been stomped on. The daisy is going to die. But he's trying. And that's, he's having this revelation, and it's coming to him slowly. And that was just the first step.
No.
Nice.
No. You were wrong. He was wrong.
No.
Who said
He's
that?
gone through a significant change. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to not wave my hands around. He's gone through a significant change, a mind-altering or vision-altering thing. So he just throws his hat away. He will throw his hat away later after another similar experience. But again, it's another representation that's duplicated. And he'll do this over and over again. This is one of those interesting phenomena.
Don't say anything until we finish our conversation, all right?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I don't see it here. No, it's later on.
We'll have lunch 3 hours.
Okay, we're back into his dreary, drab world, but we're about to leave that for the last time. It's about to get colorful. He's saying goodbye to his prior existence and moving on, although he doesn't recognize it at this time. Oh, and he calls him Wahoo Waturi.
And that means...
It's a reference to the Waponis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's it's just one of those.
So he's here's this pretty good bit with the main drain that I was really liked.
which
I'm opening or closing the main drain.
Yeah. So of course, there's no difference. He closes it, opens it, no change.
What's the matter with you?
So he's going to be leaving his zombie-like world and these zombie characters, and going to be going on an adventure.
And it's,
I quit.
again, well, I don't want to dwell on it. You know, I was there. I didn't go to Vietnam, by the way. I'm not a combat vet. I went through my own little hell in Germany. Totally different situation.
Romeo and Juliet.
Of course, I love, here are the 3 books that he references, that prelude,
Well, it's Romeo, Juliet, The Odyssey, and Robinson Crusoe.
right, which is this story in a nutshell. Of course, The Odyssey is a journey that alters, it takes a long journey, alters your life. There's Romeo and Juliet, which is the romantic factor. Robinson Crusoe, we're all on an island. It is the story in a nutshell. And again, here's the sailing ship, which you will see periodically through the movie.
You'll get your check. And I promise you, you'll be easy to replace.
Been noticing the background props, like on the desk back there behind Dee Dee's shoulder. You see like a pelvis and then a head, and then earlier you saw like a piece of looked like a mannequin. It's just weird. Have you ever thought about what those mean?
No. I'm sure they may have had a significance to somebody. To me, they were just props. Although you'll see these pictures on the walls of different products. There's one that looks like it's a whole series of hangman's nooses. Hangman nooses. Yeah. And
I was thinking about that a second ago. They do kind of look like that.
Yeah, some of those look like torture tools. The one that you just saw, but no. And I'm sure somebody had a lot of fun playing with those. I don't think there were anything particular in mind. That one looks like a bear trap almost. Just one of those. I don't see the one with the hangman nooses, but whatever. He's about to say goodbye. And
it stinks. It tastes like arsenic. These lights give me
lost. Totally lost. He doesn't have a clue what's going on.
Better get out of here. I'm telling you.
I had a boss like that once, and
I think most people can attest to that.
I really do wish I could go back and relive the moment, and I would have knocked him flat on his can. There's no doubt about it. I should have. His restraint here is remarkable. I would have pummeled this man into the ground, but
I'm going to leave you here, Mr. Walker.
That's a different time.
Well, he just said, he's been giving away his life for $300 a week, and we didn't note one of the more obvious visual images in the beginning of the movie, which was when the sole of his shoe started to come off.
That's true.
He responds, "I'm losing my soul."
Right. Yes, that's true. And then
so he's starting to get himself back here.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
What a change.
Here we go. This is an important element right here. It's the real question. Who am I? Who are you? What other questions are there? This is the beginning, and note the color, by the way. We are out of that, and look, there's cut flowers here. Cut flowers, and I believe you'll see cut flowers, roses on Dee Dee's blouse. If not now, in this scene, you will see them later.
In the beginning,
but,
I was full of, piss and vinegar. Nothing got me down.
This is the beginning of Shanley's communicating to you what he wants to say to you, like I said, and I will give you the condensed version during the credits.
Scared of what?
But, it's the color, and of course, have you ever been scared?
I guess so, sure.
Yeah, he was in Vietnam. he was a Marine, most likely in Vietnam. You better believe he was scared. You don't get around it. But again, you see cut flowers, the rose, which you will see outside momentarily. You can partially see the roses on her blouse at this point, but you'll see them later. Again, it's just colorful.
What do the cut roses mean?
See? You
Of course,
never feel great.
any flower that's cut is going to die. It's just a fact of life. It's pretty, you know. Yeah, you give a bouquet of flowers to someone. They're very colorful, very pretty, but they're going to die. They're dead. The minute you cut them, they are dead. And I think this has something to do with, and I don't know what experience Shanley had exactly. I hear that he may have written something in an introduction to something called The 13 Stories by Shanley or something like that, I forget, where he's describing some stuff that happened to him. I've not read it, but I think he's trying to communicate that to you here. And part of it is you will see flowers everywhere, and they're always cut.
There's an importance to the song and to that line that Joe just said.
Very much.
Make our hearts burst.
Very much.
What does that mean?
Okay. Like I said, Shanley and I were very similar in age, very close in age. Not similar, close, but whatever. He's from New York, by the way. I've only passed through New York. I'll just about put money on it that his parents had a copy of the record, soundtrack, what do you want to call it, to My Fair Lady. This song is the Spanish version of the song called On the Street Where You Live. It is in English. If you and I'm sure most people have been in love. There's another cut rose, by the way. And again on the side of the wall.
Cut rose in the window.
Yeah, cut rose in the window. And of course you see the Fire in Paradise sign. There's the Volcano.
And the restaurant
the Sailor.
Is the Spanish Rose.
Yes, I mean he's communicating the stories. I love the skyline, and again the color, totally unrealistic.
You know, I never really noticed that until he pointed it out, but the colors are very striking, completely out of reality.
Right, totally. And he'll do this again in just a few moments. And this is the Wizard of Oz effect. And here it is again. Every apartment has a different color in it. I love it. And by the way, did you ever notice this before? It says fortune teller.
Yeah.
You know, this is a fortune teller in an apartment building. You know, so it may or may not be legal. I don't know. Where was I going before I got set off on that?
Talking about My Fair Lady.
Oh, yes, the song, My Fair Lady. Oh, and there you'll see when she opens up her jacket in just a moment, you'll see the cut roses again. That song.
Is that his fireman's hat?
Yes, it is. That's his fireman's hat from when he was a fireman 8 years ago.
I never noticed that.
Oh,
Just 5 to 6 months to live.
where's it at? Oh, the song On the Street Where You Live. It is a song that if you've ever been in love, you want to stand on your rooftop and scream to everybody that you know, I love this person, and just possibly running into her somewhere on the street or in, you know, it's fantastic, and it'll give you goosebumps, and it's just one of those songs, and I'm sure that's why Shanley chose that song. It's just, you know, he's just like Joe says, they bribe these guys to sing a song that would make our hearts swell and burst or something. That's what it'll do. It's a message that he felt, and he wanted to share that with people. And I've been there. Let's face it. I've been to the point where I wanted to stand on the roof and just scream at people.
I can't handle it, Joe.
This is how I feel about that person. Oh, I love this. Look at back there in the background. That's just, you know, that's part of the set. Oh, and you're gonna see this. Oh, there it is again. It's just studs. You know, that's part of the. They put a plate or whatever on it and whatever. I mean, that's not a real hallway in any place. Okay, sorry, I drift. Okay, we're about to see what many people think of. Okay, wait a minute. I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself. Get my breath back. Okay. There's a single flower in a flower pot. It's not dead. But, okay. Granamir is ringing the doorbell. You're going to see him in just a moment.
The ukulele will come back later.
Oh yeah,
as well.
you'll see the ukulele several times. Okay, this
Is Lloyd Bridges.
is Lloyd Bridges, and that is not a duck. That is a loon. It is, granted, it's an aquatic bird, but the loon is best representative of Lloyd Bridges' character in this movie. It's just one of those things. Many people have mistaken it. Okay, I love this. I love this apartment. Okay, watch this. Okay, you have to. It's quick. Look at this wall. It cuts the fireplace and everything right in half. Look at that. It's gone. Okay, it's totally unrealistic, and I would love to see what those four, get a close-up of those four characters on that mantle to see what that is, what they are. And given Shanley's propensity for setting things up, I'm sure there are characters that we'll see in the future.
Well, that cut in his wall is also the lightning symbol as well.
Oh, yes, again. But that's like I said, everybody sees that.
You dragged two kids down a 6-story burning staircase.
Okay.
Now, that was brave. Then you
But
went back up.
it's the...
That was heroic. Come
Okay,
on now,
this
you're a
is
hero.
where Joe is again. He's back in his apartment. This is the last time he's going to be in this drab, dreary world.
Much as I can learn in 24 hours anyway. Peanuts?
Here's a lively character out of the fairy tale fantasy, not fairy tale. I fell into it myself. Fable.
Good for you.
He's very
Families are
colorful,
breaking the neck.
bigger than life. That's the character. Oh, this pipe is it's a meerschaum pipe, and the figure is a rather buxom presentation of what would be the figurehead of a sailing ship, and it's
You were at his office yesterday?
well done.
Yes.
He told me you
Let's
knew.
see.
He thought that you and I might be able to help each other.
Lloyd Bridges' character here, Granamere, when he'll get a wide-eyed look in a minute when he's lighting this pipe, and he just looks insane, like a lunatic. Hence the loon on the top of the.
Well, the fact that he's lighting a match while he's talking about a volcano.
Yeah, it all ties together. You love it.
You know,
Now, the movie is called Joe versus the Volcano. What do you think about that title? Do you think it's a little too off-putting for
No.
mainstream audiences? Because it's a strange title.
It's
got a very it's a pulpy kind of sound.
It is, and it is. And in the commentary I saw way back, and I'm sure it's on your copy. You'll see an interview with
You mean
Shanley.
it behind the scenes?
Yeah. You'll see an interview with Shanley. And,
I wish this movie did have a director's commentary.
Right. But there's a point there where somebody asks, they remark on it. So, who wins, Joe or the volcano?
It's been
And Shanley doesn't answer the question. He just laughs because it's so obvious. He can't believe you were even asking the question. Joe. Okay, the volcano is just his fears, his fear of death, and he faces it and moves on. Joe moves on. Joe wins. I can't believe you asked the question. So he can't answer the question without insulting the person that asked it. It's just one of those things.
I don't know anywhere else in the
Oh,
planet
say.
more than a gram of this stuff, and believe
Of course,
me,
now he's going into why he's recruiting Joe to go to the island. Again, you can see it's just cut. The mantle, the frame above the fireplace itself, everything is cut in half with this wall with the lightning bolt on it.
He needs the mineral boobaroo for his superconductors, but this is a huge setup.
Yeah, it's all a big setup, and it's
Dr. Ellison is his doctor, and he
and
used the brain cloud to get him to think he's dying, to get him to jump into the volcano so he can get the boobaroo.
yes, he's manipulating the entire situation, laying on this great salesman job to get Joe to accept the position
you haven't got any money.
of human sacrifice. I'll pay you very well, but I won't have to pay you very long because you're going to be dead. I love it.
I want to go, I tell you that.
Okay.
Easy yours.
Of course, when he walks in,
Take the job.
okay, now, the top to the stereo is closed. At this point, it's open. And it's just one of those things. I used to have a stereo like that, so I recognize it, and but whatever. There are a few
Is
very
that just a continuity error you're
yeah.
talking about?
There are
Okay.
there are a couple of real continuity errors, and I will point them out. And that happens to be one. When he walks in, the slide over the disc player is closed, and now it's open because he goes, "Oh, and you're going to jump into the volcano." And it's just
You're Charles Lindbergh. It's wine, women, and song in the sweetest little paradise you ever saw. And then you jump.
see.
I
So
like
he has-
this that Joe looks down into it. It's kind of like,
What do you say?
Let's see.
All right, I'll do it.
There's my card. And your plane ticket, American.
Again, it's,
do you think it? Do you have any comments on the fact that Joe kind of just casually seems to accept his fate? He just says,
Yes.
"All right, I'll do it," without much expression, just kind of passive.
yeah. No, he did it. Like I said, he accepted his fate just like I accepted my fate when I was drafted. I think he did the same thing. You accepted it. When I went into the Army, I thought I was going to die. Oh, I love this. Pay attention. I'm sorry. Pay attention. You will see the trees being reflected on his windshield. It's an attention to detail that you don't get, and you will see it. I'm sorry. You'll see it again later. The reflection in the windshield, which is not drowned out by artificial lights or anything else, and it's a detail that I think it just shows the
Just hire me to drive the car, sir.
what's the word I'm looking for?
I didn't ask you to tell me who I am. You hitting around
The
about
mindset, the clarity, the picture that Shanley was trying to present, and
Banks. Clothes makes the man. I believe that.
it shows the attention to detail that he has throughout the entire movie. So that there are many things that look like there are many things that people don't even see or don't even pick up because he's put such detail into it that I think most people don't even see it. It's just one of those, and this is one of those things.
Well, this is something. Well, you don't want to use the word fairy tale, but the character of the wise old man.
Yes, this is Marshall. I love Ozzie Davis. He's again a great actor.
This is one of my favorite lines right here. Hold on, I gotta cut you off.
Oh yeah.
Now, what's the situation? Explain the situation to me.
Yeah, and it's you're going on a long journey, whatever. But again, you're going to Marshall is going to deliver a line here shortly.
I hope so.
Ouch.
And then tomorrow I'm flying out.
First class.
Yeah.
Anyway, Marshall delivers several lines of wisdom.
No tourists.
As he transitions or helps to transition Joe from his drab existence to this fabled existence that
Well, you
unfortunately
could compare him to maybe Merlin or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, Merlin advised Arthur.
possibly.
Well, I didn't mean they had all that in common, but you can see where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I do, and to a degree, you're right.
Well, right here, you had something
Okay,
to say
no one's
about
paying
that.
you to pay me to give. Oh, okay, pay attention to that line. You will.
Well, okay, what was the line? No one's.
No one's paying you to give me all this advice.
Okay.
Okay, with a little bit of a twist, that is what Shanley is doing to you. He is giving you advice via this movie.
So there's that large dog again. I don't know. I always thought that meant something. There's two of them.
Yeah, they're at the dog bar. I love that.
Well, I mean, you
Again,
saw.
look at the globes. Oops, you missed it. Okay, they happened real fast. There were globes on the mantle back there in the underwear store. Of course, here's the Horn of Africa. There's a sailing ship on a map. Again, cut flowers on the. Sorry. Of course, here's not necessarily cut flowers. There's greenery everywhere. She tells him that you're like your prince in a fairy tale. I love that. Of course, that's part of what misled people. I think this is not a fairy tale.
And Ozzie Davis's line, "You're coming into focus."
Yes.
Obvious.
Yeah.
this is my favorite sequence in the movie. It always has been.
Oh, the golfing? What, this?
No. This shopping spree.
Oh, the shopping spree.
I mean,
Okay.
it's this and the music that.
Yes.
You know, the
Oh, yeah.
montage and the music that makes it work.
It's not down. It's.
Two brass Coleman lanterns and the violin.
I can't believe I've gone brain dead. Oh, the music. Oh, I don't believe this.
You didn't comment on it.
I haven't commented on the music. How'd you let me get away with that?
What the scene is just going still. So go ahead.
Oh no. We have to get into the luggage. We have to stop.
Okay.
This, pay attention. You'll see the paint. Watch this. See the sky back here
On
on
the
the
right-
wall.
right
Oh,
hand
yes.
side.
Okay. And then this whole setup, and I love Barry McGovern as the salesman. He can deliver this role like no one. This whole set is
an ocean voyage.
what's the word? A pun, a maker, whatever, of a mortuary. You go in there, select coffins, and this is what it looks like. They have the same music. The coffins are all set up nice and pretty in separate little covens, or not covens, what's the word? Cubicles, whatever. And it's the same routine. It's these, and I just love this. I cannot do this. What he's about to do with his finger, this hand, I have attempted to do this. I cannot get my fingers in that position. I love it. I just can't do it. But, okay, again, this is like opening up in a mortuary or a funeral home. Oh, ta-da, here's this really great coffin. I just can't help it. But yeah, you might, I don't know if you'll see it again. I don't think you will, but yeah, you'll see the painted sky. You saw it there. You're going to see it again. You just can't help it. Okay, you're going to see this trunk several times. You'll see it. You'll see not just the one particular trunk. Excuse me. It's going to be in the open position in his hotel room down the road.
And I've looked online to see if I could ever find any kind of memorabilia from this movie. And although it's not tied to the movie, they do sell luggage like this, these steamer trunks.
Oh yeah,
and they're incredibly expensive.
Oh yeah, this is yeah. Again, here's the reflection in the window of the limo.
You mean at the buildings?
Yes. And there's one other time where you're going to see a reflection in the front window of a car.
I can't do that. I got
This is another quote that has some meaning for you.
significance.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about
You're
it.
going to see it. It's right up about
Well,
now. He
yeah,
says,
Joe's going to say some doors you have to go
Can
through.
you join with me? And he says, have you gotten anybody? He says, no. But there are certain times in your life when you're not supposed to have anyone. Some doors you're supposed to go through alone. And again, it's here, it's interspersed throughout the movie. When you put it all together in continuity, you can cover it all in about a minute and a half. Okay, here's a trunk. Here's one of the I didn't notice that one earlier. Okay, that one's closed. There's another trunk that's open. Again, there's cut flowers in the scene. And they're not just for color. More cut flowers in a vase, cut flowers on the table. Now, Blue Moon. Oh, the music. Where's it going to go? Okay.
Something about the song?
Yeah. Brazil 66, Mascanada. Of course, that was a big hit during the late 60s. But Blue Moon, and you'll see several, the music is selected carefully. Of course, Shanley wrote 2 songs for this movie. No, he wrote 2 songs. And they were put into this movie. I have to assume he wrote them for the movie. One was Marooned Without You, and the other one was the Cowboy song, I think it's called.
Which Joe plays with his ukulele.
Yes. The Cowboy song, by the way. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. You have to. Okay. Just about everybody getting off of this airplane is in uniform. There are very few people that get off this uniform that are not in an airplane, in a uniform.
Okay, the second appearance of Meg Ryan. This time playing Angela.
Yeah.
Granum.
No.
Granum.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Angela Granamere.
Angelica. Sorry.
Angelica Grainamar.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Daddy told me to tell you that I don't know what he heard
Okay,
or
I'm
anyone
to
else.
tell me. Okay, you're going to get up to a point where she describes herself as a flibbertigibbet. For those that don't know, a flibbertigibbet is a piece of a buggy or carriage that has no purpose. Just like in Star Trek, where there's in one of the Star Trek episodes where Kirk is referred to as Captain Dunzel. A dunzel is a piece of a ship that has no purpose, which is why Kirk got so upset during that particular scene. It's the same thing. I don't even know if she recognizes that she was describing herself as something that has no purpose, but that's what that was going to. Again, tons of cut flowers in color. Okay, here we're coming up to another of the continuity errors. At this point, he has got chopsticks in his hand, and she's going to smash and he still has them in his hand. She's about to smash, well, you can see them right there. She's about to whack that crab with a hammer, and then the hammer is going to go back to Joe, and the chopsticks will be transformed into a fork. Right there.
Yeah, I never noticed that before.
I was an advertising librarian for a medical supply company.
Okay, her earrings, although you don't get a good close shot of them right now, they're very iridescent, very flashy, but you will see them later on, especially when they're up in the, looking over the city below. You can get a glimpse of them there, but anyway, they're very iridescent, and in them you will see a flash periodically of a cut flower. It's just deliberate. This is one of those trips. Now here is the third time where you're going to see a reflection in the windshield. And what's important here, again, is it shows the attention to detail, because although these characters are lit, you're not seeing, you can see the scenery below them. It's not being drowned out by any of the lighting effects so that you can see these characters. There's some attention here. This is no slob.
Long ago.
Let me think. Of course, she's describing she recognizes that her life is meaningless, and hence she's thinking about killing herself, and he's going, what are you thinking about? What are you, brain dead? But and actually, this particular character is practically, although she does recognize her situation and doesn't like it. That's why she's talking about killing herself.
Well, you say it's maybe similar to, say, films. You mentioned The Wizard of Oz earlier when you were describing something with the color, but the use of Meg Ryan as three different characters, similar to, say, The Wizard of Oz, where characters in the beginning were actually also characters in the story.
That's true. That's true. I never really thought of it. Thank you.
In that way, exactly.
Yeah, but yes. Although I think the Meg Ryan character is also, you see the development of
That restaurant that had my painting up.
You could almost imagine that as one person. She's closed off and living in a drab world, and now she's in this colorful world. But now, it's like a character development, which is and you're seeing this character develop through these three faces of this one woman.
Why'd you do it? See what happened.
Well, you see here, Joe is giving advice to Angelica that he would be giving to himself a few days ago, because a few days ago he was
exactly,
if not more lost than she is right now. I mean, have you ever tried to analyze her poem, or do you think it just has no meaning like she does?
The meaning is that it has no meaning. It's empty. She has nothing.
Like she's a flibbertigibbet. It's pointless.
Yeah, it's pointless. And that is the meaning of the poem. That's the message is the medium. Is that it? Wasn't that the quote or whatever?
I'm not sure where you're going.
Okay,
with
this is back from the. Well, this is back before your time. Back in the medium was the message. Yeah, that's what it was. The medium is the message. Sorry.
I don't want to throw that away.
Yeah, I won't go any. I don't want to go into it. That's a sidetrack. We don't want to go into. But there you can see the flower.
That's She said, "I have no response to that." That's often a quote that I will use when somebody asks me something and I don't know what to say. I'll say, "I have no response to that," and they usually don't know what I'm talking about because it.
Yes, and
it's not. You don't. Anyway.
Of course, and I don't know how many times I've seen this. I've never noticed that license plate. It says "Good Girl."
No. I never noticed it either.
I never picked up on that. It's just one of those things.
I'm supposed to get you to the boat by 10, but I
yeah, let's see.
Okay.
Well, in the previous scene, Marshall gave advice to Joe, changed him, started him on his journey, and he has done the same for Angelica, and she will be.
And he's trying to
starting life anew again. So at the same time he's going on his journey, she'll be starting her own.
Yes, and he's giving some. He's really thinking now, because you're going to see it. He's going to not go into the hotel. He's going to go to the beach, and he's going to sit on the beach all night and think about what is coming up, what he's about to get into.
Is this the song that you were talking about that Shanley wrote, Marooned Without You?
Yes. Yes, this is, and you'll hear this.
Was this actually written by him, or was it by?
No, this was written by him.
Okay.
And you'll hear it. Okay, now this is the scene. Now this is, you'll see the sunlight rising from the bottom and rising up toward his head. Now, in real life, it would be just the opposite. Now, I don't know if that was an oversight. Oh, by the way, this is supposed to be Joe's face in the moon. You'll see, if you look at Joe's face through the movie, that's his face.
I'm sorry,
or at least, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, the sunrise, I don't know if that was deliberate or not. You can't call it a continuity error because there was no difference between the two scenes because there weren't two scenes, but it was obviously backwards. But I don't know if it was deliberate or not. I mean, it's just one of those things. If you think about it, when the sun rises, it lights things from the top to the bottom.
Take a pass on the laws of nature for,
No.
Well, no, I mean.
But again,
just for visual effects.
Again, there's more cut flowers. I love them, and you'll.
Joe has changed into his outdoorsman-looking garb.
And by the way, watch the hat. Here comes the other one of the other continuity errors.
You think this is inappropriate?
The hat has the flap up on the left side. When he's buying the hat, the flap is up on the right side. Two different hats.
We better get going.
Well, that wasn't the same hat that he bought.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because he nods.
Well, he was looking in a mirror though.
No, he was talking to the guy and he nods to him, says, "I like this hat." And the hat, when the flap up was on the other side. Okay. It's just one of those.
The Tweedledee.
I would love to have this boat. Oh Lord, I would be gone so fast it would make your head swim, and you would never find me. Trust me. Oh, I love it.
This is Patricia.
Yeah. This is the other Meg Ryan character. This is the one who pretty much has her act together. She does a little maturation exercise through this as well.
Do you think it means anything that she uses the name Felix?
We never know where our father is, and we always suspect that the other...
No, I can't think of any particular reason for that other than, she's just, like she says, she does what she wants to do.
Of all the names she could have chosen, always Felix is odd name.
Can you believe it, Dad?
I don't know. Felix the cat.
That's what I was thinking of, but I don't know anything about Felix the cat.
Felix the cat had a magical bag. Whenever he was in trouble, he reached into a bag and pulled out his, reached into his bag of tricks. I forget how the song went, but whatever. He would always bail himself out of trouble by reaching into the magical bag. Let's see. I like this because he doesn't, he doesn't kiss her on the lips, although she's expecting it. At least the character is expecting it. Of course, obviously, you've gone through it many times, but still, he kisses her on a cheek, and it's a very platonic kiss, and it's like she goes, wow, that was different. He was different. This is kind of like a start of where she's starting to go down. Maybe life isn't what I thought it was. She's growing up. Okay, here he is throwing away a hat again. He threw away a hat in the factory, and now he's throwing away this hat. It's the end of one segment, going to the next segment of this movie.
Well, hate to interrupt, but there is the music that's being played over this scene. Now, this composer also composed the film Steel Magnolias, and if you play that main theme from Steel Magnolias, right after listening to that piece of music, you'll notice some
striking
very similar
similarities.
Tonal similarities.
Yes. Okay. Now here you're going to see more cut flowers.
Well, look at this background here. This is very otherworldly and
I love this.
out of reality.
Yeah, totally.
Tweedledee?
Of course, it's still larger than life, colorful. By the way, you'll see this. I don't even know what you want to call that above them. It's almost like a scarf or whatever. But again, you'll see that down the road shortly too. Now here they're explaining what the Waponies, where they're going, what how their culture came to be. It's a combination, I love this, of Romans. So you have the Latin, Jews, Druids, and the Polynesians all hanging out on this one little island. Of course, they have no sense of direction, which is comical.
What do you think of the orange soda bit? I never really... that was just always a little too much to me.
Almost.
It's funny, but it was always just a little too much.
It is.
Like you'll see later in the movie when they get to Waponiwu, the tribesman who spots them is wearing a necklace of soda cans.
All wear
cans,
smashed cans. They have arm bracelets. They all have Jump Cola all over them.
Do you think that Shanley had a particular fondness for orange soda?
I don't know. I think he had a fondness for the color of the can. Could be. Okay. That one I can't explain. But okay. She's explaining her situation on why she's taking him to the island, and it's hard for her, and she goes into greater detail here shortly, right up now, whereas she explains to him that she's doing this. She got away from her father. She wanted to stand on her own. Her father came back in and offered her this boat because he knew that she wanted this boat. And she has to admit to herself, and this is why she was so upset, that she had a price. She accepted it, and she was willing to pay the price to get this boat. And the price was having to deal with her father.
You like to fish?
It's terrible, but it's it's terrible. Okay, it's almost like there was a. Turn that on, by the way. What low? There was she has to admit that she sold herself, and it was a matter of. Okay, there used to be a joke a long time ago about this guy. He said he met this beautiful woman. He offered her an outrageous amount of money, like $1 million, to have sex with him, and she goes, okay, and the guy comes back and says, well, what about $20? And she goes, what do you think I am, a whore? And he goes, we've already settled that. Now we're just bargaining for the price. And it's the same situation. She's admitting that she has sold out. She sold herself, and her father knew the price. It's one of those self-realization things that she had to deal with. And it just rubbed her the wrong way.
I feel ashamed.
Okay, so she feels ashamed. She's had a price. Okay. Okay. Now there's some elements here I don't know. I have to concede. I've never slept on a boat. although it sounds like it would be entirely possible that it would affect your dreams and so on and so on. Oh,
I don't know
okay.
I wanted you to know what mine is, not just to explain something.
Now the next, okay.
But because
We're about to go to the fishing scene. Very bright, colorful, and you have who is that? Is that the Beach Boys? It's not. That's the Rascals.
You mean the what's that song?
Good Lovin'.
like my sister, she's so.
Isn't it Good Lovin'?
No. It's Good Love.
Yeah, I think it's Good Lovin'.
Okay.
Anyway, of course, it references the sea. The song that he dances to. Okay, there are multiple songs through this movie reference the sea, even if it's only in one line. They reference the sea or the ocean.
Well, is it just called Good Love? Because Good Lovin' is another song, isn't it?
Wait a minute. I'll tell you in a minute. I cheated.
Okay.
I cheated. I have to look it up, but I've got it here somewhere. Oh gosh, I forget. Okay. Anyway, now they're fishing. Very Good Lovin'. I love, of course, Michelob was the beer back in the 60s, 70s. I mean, everybody drank the beer. You know what? I can't read, and I know that later in the movie you will see the name Tweedledee on the bow of the ship, but I don't think that was said Tweedledee on the stern. But I couldn't make it out. So of course he's fishing and he's cumbersome. Of course she pulls up one fish after the other. This one, that fish in particular, I want to say that was a prehistoric fish, a mock-up of a prehistoric fish whose name escapes me at the moment, but obviously just... Yeah, maybe it does. It does say Tweedledee. Okay, it is Tweedledee on the stern as well as on the bow. Okay. God, I want this boat. I want this boat. There's no two ways about it. Now, I don't know what, if any, significance there is in what he pulls up out of the water right here. Of course, these two are bonding while he's struggling with this fish, which is all well and good. I don't know what the shark is to represent. Shanley uses symbolism throughout this movie, so there has, I'm sure there's some symbolism to this, but I just don't know what it is. But I love the shark. He's a beautiful
It's an
shark.
obvious puppet, but
yeah. But again, okay, here's some colorful. Oh, I love the colored lights hanging on the lamps. Okay, this is just like the skyline in New York, and just like the front of his apartment building with all the different colors. Here they are again. This is Shanley's continuity with the color and otherworldliness. I just love it. And again, in the background, there's more cut flowers. I don't know why he's doing that. I just noticed that he does it.
Away from the
I'm sure there is significance, but I'm not sure what it is. There's even more. I mean, good grief. And they've been out at sea now for some time, so where do these things come from? They have a nursery down below.
I always like that line, and I've used it as a response when he asks her, "Do you believe in God?" And she says, "I believe in myself."
Oh,
and I've used that in response when people ask me that question, and they usually take it the wrong way. They think I'm very egocentric when I say that. I'm just like, no. It's just like, well, I know I exist, and I think I do anyway. But I just use that, and I say, well, actually, I'm quoting a movie, and then I say, oh, it's this movie, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, it would be a good response, and I typically avoid situations where people are going to ask me that question deliberately. I don't want to go into that. We're getting off onto a sidetrack. Of course, he's talking about here he's comparing what he's experiencing in the last couple days with his. And here is one of the primary lines of the movie that Shanley's trying to tell people, and he's one that you have to be careful when you do, because basically he's saying, he's quoting her father, Granomir, is saying is that almost the entire world is asleep. Hence, they don't know what's going on around them. You don't typically walk up to people and say, hey, you're asleep, you don't have a clue what's happening. They don't take it very well. So you have to spread the message out and make it as if you were not talking about that particular person, because that particular person would not take it well.
I don't know what to say. You tell me you're dying.
And I think maybe that's why another reason I
can understand that.
associate with this movie so well is that
No.
just like Joe, when I was younger, before I got drafted and went through my particular version of unpleasantness, I didn't have a clue, and I will admit it. I didn't have a clue of what was going on, but my eyes were opened, and I became more and more aware, I like to think, of what was going on. Oh, I love this. Look at these. See all these things on that, what do you want to call that, little wall?
Shelf?
Yeah, a little shelf. You had all these little animals and stuff. Of course.
Look at this green here.
I love that.
This is, visually, this is very interesting, but it doesn't exist in reality, at least not that I know of.
Oh, no.
This really... bright green in real life?
Well, no, but
this is almost a soup.
I've seen it in yellow.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, this can happen. Yeah, this is a natural.
I've never been
a natural effect.
I've never been out in the sea before.
I've never seen the green, but I've seen the yellow. I mean, it's been. The sky can do some really weird things. I saw the yellow just before a huge hailstorm hit, and I mean, I recognized the color of the sky. I said, talking to your mother, and I said, pull over. She didn't know why, but she did what I told her to do. She no sooner stopped than the hail started. And this was in Southern California, Redondo Beach. Okay, you're about to see, big waves, I love this. And you're going to see inside, shortly. Momentarily, you're going to see that same shelf again, and all the animals are gone. Of course, in a real ship, you wouldn't have those animals there because you know they're going to get knocked off and away. So they're not going to be there. You'll see the moment, like you'll see that shelf in a moment, and there are no little doodads on it, little knickknacks, whatever. Okay, somebody determined that the longitude and latitude that she was giving would put her about 2/3 of the way to someplace in Polynesia. I love Dagmar. She doesn't have a whole lot to say, but she's a good character.
150 degrees, 18
There's
minutes.
the shelf, nothing on it. I want this boat. That's all I can tell you is I would.
Looks like it's gonna
I
bust
would
loose.
be gone in a heartbeat. There's even a picture of the ship. In the ship on the wall.
Well, this doesn't have anything to do with this particular scene, but we're way past it. But did you mention the earring thing about?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that part. I wasn't in the room.
Yeah, you were.
I guess I just missed it. Sorry. I mean,
yeah. Well, you've heard me say it so many times that it went right over your
You're
head.
talking about a mile a minute, so I'm just. I guess.
Well,
I just missed it.
like I said, that there's so much to cover.
She's like a captain. She's married to the sea.
Yeah.
This Dagmar character.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now Joe's about to get the wind knocked out of him by this big wave. There he is. He's, whoa, going to grab my chest. And I've been there. When you get the wind knocked out, you can't function. Okay, here is the realization, if you will, that, oh, hey, I really like you.
And this is the Maroon Without You theme?
I think it's
orchestral theme.
You'll hear it several times. I think it is playing.
Well, it's the love theme for Joe.
Yeah, so it's very probable it's playing here too. And here, I love this too. You're going to see this momentarily. Of course, she's going to get, everybody knows she gets knocked off the boat. He pauses for a second and then jumps in. Of course, that's the same thing he did when he was a fireman. He risked his life. Of course, this time he's risking his life for Patricia. But when he jumps in, he has no shoes on. Yeah. So, hello, what's he doing running around on the deck on this storm with no shoes?
The way that...
Watch, he's got no shoes.
Very good. The way that her hat was, her rain hat was on her head, kind of looked like, the way it was in that shot when she was smiling after they kissed, it looked like a bonnet. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, looked like a sunbonnet.
Well, yeah, it just looked like a bonnet, and it was just kind of...
But that's I've seen that kind of rain gear. They do wear that.
Well, I mean, the way they arranged it on her head and made it look like that, it was like intentional.
It was definitely intentional. Yeah,
look.
to give her that appearance. Oh, sure. There's no doubt. Of course, here we get the
lightning.
A really big lightning bolt. It's going to take take down the ship. And I think we're all deceived here. We call it a lightning bolt because it's obviously a lightning bolt here, but there's something about that symbol. It's just a crooked road or a crooked symbol or whatever. But the lightning bolt is a good way to describe it.
I remember this, when I saw this when I was much younger, and this is when you told me about one of the facts of lightning and the way it strikes, and I was like, well, how come the lightning strikes that boat? I mean, isn't that like 1,000,000 to 1 shot? And you're like, no. That's not how lightning works. And then you explained it to me.
Yes. We don't want to go into the physics of lightning.
Well, the way that lightning is attracted to...
Because, for among other things, lightning actually goes both ways at once. Mm-hmm. It goes up. Mm-hmm. Most people don't realize that. It happens, they close the gap, so to speak. It goes up and it goes down. This is a Herculean feat, and there's no other way to describe this.
Joe tying all the things
these
together?
Yeah, to round these up and tie them together using the rope that she had. This is amazing. Of course, he can do this because he's had the rope not training business as a fireman, but still, this is a tremendous and exhausting effort. And when he hits that deck, he is beat. Of course, you see the versatility of the.
I think you could tell they were in a set, in a closed set. Now they're out in the open ocean.
Now look at the wall. Look at the sky. It's the same as the painting in the luggage room. It's it.
Yeah.
That is it. It's just one of those little pieces, and he's on the luggage. He's tying these scenes together. I just love the way he did this. I don't recall. Of course, like I said, my tour in the Army was very different story. But she has what appears to be on that raincoat ribbons, military ribbons, and I don't know what significance. I don't know if that's just I'm picking that up, or it just happens to be decoration on that jacket. I'm not sure. It could be ribbons that he earned, Shanley, while he was in the Marines. I don't know. Just a curiosity. You'll see them there. I don't know if that's just decorations on the jacket that just happen to be there, or if they were symbols. Again,
any comments on the song that's being used right now?
Let's see. Okay, Way Beyond the Sea. Again, it's another song where the sea is referenced. He's doing the fish. What's the name of this song? I've gone blank.
It's all right, but obviously the lyrics are very appropriate for Joe.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
Come with me, my darling.
Yeah.
Come, go with me.
Yeah.
To the sea.
Of course, he's got his hands raised up again too. That's 3 times he does that in the movie.
I love this, though. Joe's stuck on a little raft in the middle of nowhere, and he still takes the time to shave.
Yeah.
Like it really matters. Well, he soon gives up on that, but he's still pretending like he's a part of civilization right now.
Well, as long as he can, he does maintain, Okay, now this song.
This is
Joe. He's singing the cowboy song. This is a song that was written by Shanley.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said earlier, Shanley and I are only a couple of years apart, and even your mother remembers this song. When we were in school, elementary school, I think, one of the songs that they taught us in music class, or whatever you want to call that, was The Streets of Laredo, which is a song about a guy who's walking on a street in Laredo, sees another guy, he's a cowboy, who is dying. And this song just, although it's not as morbid as that song, why in the world they would teach that to elementary school kids, I have no idea. But this song, something says Shanley knew that song. We both had to learn, had to sing that song when we were in elementary school for some reason.
Well,
and that's where this came from.
That's kind of like the Ring Around the Rosie, that's about the Black Death, and
but
you don't know that when you're a kid.
But we know that. But to teach a song about, because the lyrics of the song, Streets of Laredo, the cowboy says, I'm dying. I got shot in the chest and I'm going to die today. He says, why would you teach that song to some elementary school kids? It's a tough song. Okay, and I Cover the Waterfront. Again, it's another song about the sea. It's no, there again, the ribbons. And it could be just...
What is it that Joe's giving her to drink?
That's like Perrier or some other water, just. But yeah, of course, he's not drinking any of the water, so he's getting dehydrated and delirious, which you're going to see the effects from shortly. First time is right about now, where he sees constellations in the sky. Of course, the figures that he sees don't necessarily match the constellations in reality, but they're fun to watch anyway. Of course, and he washes his, and they're gone. He's back to reality, but he's going to succumb eventually to the effects of dehydration. You can only go so long without it having some really nasty things happen to you. Now here he's watching the moon rise. Oh, this is great. Of course, it's in real life, the moonrise. Granted, and I love that sky. That is what the Milky Way looks like. Most people don't see that because it's washed out from the city lights. That would be stunning. Of course, it's greatly exaggerated. The moon is not, and no time will the moon appear. If the moon appeared that big to you, the world's about to end, people, because it's coming to you. But still, that's how it appears to him because he's in the state that he's in. It's a fabulous shot. Again, here he is with his hands raised up. And he's the magnitude of the universe is being imported to him, and it's he is realizing how big it is, how little he is. And it's,
well, with Joe with his arms up in the air, and here, as he's done that several other times in the film, but at this point he's completely surrendering to his destiny, to his fate.
No.
No?
No. He doesn't, his brain's fried right now.
Well, yeah, I can tell.
So, no, he's not surrendering it. He's realizing, hey, because I think he says it, he does say it here. He says, thank you for my life, But no, he's not surrendering to his fate. No. It's.
Did you drink any water for yourself?
No, I like the fact that it fades from the moon to.
What happened to the yacht?
Meg's character.
Lightning.
No sign of Dagmar or the boys?
He's bringing her up to date on what's happened now that she's regained consciousness.
The way he's... Sorry, the way he said lightning, like, if I ever had to use that word, I would say it the way Joe says it, which is lightning.
Yeah. Okay, here's the first of the Waponis that we get to meet. And again, you'll see this jump cola, okay, and it's all over him.
Yeah, like I said, he's wearing it as a necklace, and he's got it on his
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Too.
Yeah, it's on its waist. It's Great Island.
What's that? Well, it's a little island with a big volcano.
Yes. Of course, the likelihood of a raft drifting and hitting the target in the Pacific Ocean. Okay, now here you get a real good taste of Latin, Polynesian, Druid, and Jewish cultures all joined together. The music they're doing right here is a Jewish song of celebration, frequently done at weddings. Okay. Who is this guy?
Nathan Lane. This is the witch doctor you were talking about.
Witch doctor. There, you get a good glimpse of him right there, and you can see. You don't see it so much here, but you will see it later in the ceremony.
Yeah, remember the images
of the wall.
Mentioned about the wall earlier. You
yeah,
can see that clearly.
You'll
his
see
face
it.
and his hands up in the sky there.
I really could tell what that was in the background, the circle and black and white thing. I love rolling out the red carpet. It's so big you don't even recognize it as the red carpet. I just love that. And the color is amazing here. I love this. And of course, Joe, who is making this amazing recovery. I mean, most people would be in a hospital for a week or two after going through that, and after being pounded with some fish, he's going to be amazingly well. Again, everybody on this island is wearing jump cola cans and other stuff. Oh, here, watch this. Watch, I love it. Look in the left hand. Everybody looks at the right hand. See this? On the right, on the left hand, it's the rectal probe.
I love how they've all. Well, no, yeah, but they've all.
It is the rectal probe.
It is the rectal probe.
Yeah.
But they've all collapsed to the ground. It's just...
Yeah, because he's the Toby. But yeah, again, this is the witch doctor and the rectal Toby. He's tying the front end of this movie.
I thought Nathan Lane was the witch doctor. He's the chief.
He's the chief, but he's tying the front end of the movie with the back end of the movie.
The anger of the woo.
I haven't quite picked up, if anything, the significance of his headgear.
Tonight we will have a big feast. And then at the end of the feast,
and here we're just going to go over basically what he was told in the beginning. You're going to wine, women, song, have a party, and jump in a volcano. Here we go. I love this singing in Waponi, baloney. He's talking about, if you'll hear it, the lyrics, whatever other nonsense lyrics there are, they're saying flesh, flesh, pound of flesh, over and over again. That's his character. Her character gets something like a beauty queen. Now, again, of course, I'm hard of hearing, but so again, she's referred to as the beauty queen, and she gets all this lavish treatment, which is really great. Well, poor Joe gets the daylights pounded out of him with the fish. I just love it. You'll see this strange character. Bananas, by the way, do not grow in Polynesia. They grow in South America. I love that. So I don't know what this blue powder is. But again, you'll see the jump cola cans all over the place.
And it's purple.
And it's purple juice. I don't know if that's real or not. Same whatever you want to call that thing that she's sitting on. Okay, and he's had enough, and he's taking this octopus off his face. This is probably really good for cleansing pores. But other than that, I don't know what good it would do. But amazing recovery. He's, okay, here's the other duck with his luggage. Okay, again, he ties the the duck in the beginning, ties the duck in the end with, with the different doctors. Okay, here's... Okay, here is the factory. And here is the witch doctor's face, and here's the doctor's office wall. There he is. The volcano god saw climbing out of there. That is the face of the factory that Joe worked in. The factory that Joe worked in was sucking the life out of him slow. The volcano promises to take his life fast, but the point is that they're both going to take his life. And that's the point. It's being offered up as a sacrifice.
Maybe you ran away. Maybe you don't want to jump in the big woo.
Okay, you're probably now Joe. Now here's a good scene. This is good. We know that Joe bought a tux because we saw it, and he's got the tux in the trunk. So this is cool. Here he is. He's got his tux on. He's looking really sharp. You know, all the other pony women are wearing cloth or flowers or whatever. Where does Meg Ryan supposed to come up with this white satin dress? I love it. You know, hello. We're supposed to just, it just came out of the blue. Unless Joe was carrying it around in his trunk, in which case
I never even thought about it before.
Makes me a little curious. It's just one of those things. Abe Vigoda, he delivers good stuff. These two guys, that's great. That they didn't hit each other. That was some good timing. I love it. And I bet you they did this more than once and whacked into each other. But it's great. Bird of Paradise there again. There's more flowers.
I love this. The ponies like this soda, and they won't jump into the blue.
Yeah.
That's good.
I am the Toby. I cannot be the hero.
There's his soul. He's waving us.
But the woo calls, and no one from my people says I'll go to my end for the rest of you.
Oh, he's got some stunning jewelry on his Abe Vigoda's robe.
I'm my only hope for a hero.
Not bad for simple people.
Well, another reference, to like Joe with his shoe and the soul, and then the chief is holding his soul and the rectal probe. So another reference back to earlier in the movie.
Yeah. Of course, nobody wants to hear. They all are stepping up to the fact that none of them want to jump into the volcano. Okay, especially now that we got this guy. No, I'm not doing it. Let him do it. Amazing color. Somebody had fun with this.
Take me
to the volcano.
To the volcano. That's that's a tagline.
Yes.
In the movie, so.
Yes.
I've held off on quoting a lot of other parts of the movie, so.
Yeah.
That was the one line, that's it.
Now, here's where, they start heading up the hill. Oh, there's another duck, by the way.
Very quick.
Yeah. Of course, now they're heading up the side of the volcano. Of course, now you really get to see this white satin gown that came out of nowhere. The rest of these people just...
Is this actually a language, or is it like Klingon? It's like
no, because if you'll see it, because when you actually see that, you see kimosabi, which is it's one of the terms that's used in Waponi, and it's also the term that Vandermeer uses. I don't know about you, kimosabi, when you're making those kind of decisions.
There's the lightning bolt again.
Yeah, there's your lightning bolt. It's not a real language. It's a faked language with intermittent. Oh, there's another continuity error about to pop up. It has to do with the position of the volcano god and this guy. Oh no, and Nathan Hale's character.
Nathan
Lane. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Nathan. You saw where he was, and in a moment he'll be on the other side.
Can you give us a minute?
Yeah, there's Nathan Lane over there, and the volcano guy over on the right.
Love me?
Now, if I'm not mistaken, momentarily,
I can feel my heart. I feel like I'm going crazy. You just can't die and leave me here on the stinking earth without you.
Gotta do it.
Why?
He's saying, gotta do it.
Doesn't even want you to do it. Do you, Chief?
Because I have wasted my entire life, and I'm going to die.
Maybe
now
I was wrong.
I have a chance to die like a man, and I'm going to take it. I got it.
I'm going to chance to die like a man. Again, this is. I think this is a reference Shanley throws in about his time as a Marine. I could be wrong. Now, for a long time,
Go back down. Get out of here.
No.
Okay.
Please let me do what I gotta do.
Okay, this arch is actually a statue, and you get to see it once or twice. It's huge, and for quite a while I thought you'll see a figure that looks like the face of comedy, and you think on the other side, oh, it's going to be the face of tragedy. But it's not. I actually saw them both today, and they're both.
You're afraid of the commitment. You're going to have to love and honor me for about 30 seconds.
It's just one of those flukes. Okay, now they're getting ready to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The shortest wedding ceremony.
Well, yeah, but that's fine because that's what it's all about. Is if if you agree to be married, you're married.
Oh,
that's it. If you do it in front of
this is another one of my favorite lines. Hold on, it's coming up.
I'm going now.
I'm going now.
Yeah.
Whenever
I've had enough of this. I'm out of here.
If I ever leave a room, I'll be like, I'm going now.
Yes. Yeah, that would be.
Because, he's obviously talking to the audience or just to himself. It's just.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just
out of here.
Very comical. I like it. There's the statue you were talking about.
Yes. And you can see the. Up on the.
Well, the arch is his legs.
Yeah.
Or it could be a mouth.
Both of those.
Or it could be a mouth.
Please don't come out here.
No way.
Yeah.
Like mouth of the volcano.
True, but
I can't think of anything to spare.
somebody actually said that was whatever. But you can see that smiling face on the upper right corner of the screen. There's the other smiling. There's the other one on the other side is also smiling. So who knows? Maybe it's the Hindu god saying, all the world's a joke. It's big fun. I've had fun. I forget which Hindu god that was, but it's great. Analysis of what the universe is all about. It's just God playing a joke on himself, which is really neat.
Another, well, it already passed, but that line by Meg Ryan, we'll take this leap, we'll take this jump, and we'll see. That's life.
Yeah. No? I don't think it's...
She said that just a few
already?
Minutes ago. Yeah, she did.
We missed that? Okay.
You weren't looking at the screen. So
okay, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, of course he says that line where he's, have I ever seen you? Told you that I've seen you before. The first time I saw you, I thought I saw you before, or something like that. He repeats that line. I'm gonna knock that thing right over here one of these days. It's just one of those. It's a filter thing. I keep hitting it.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is it.
Okay, now they're getting ready to jump into the volcano. And, of course, here comes the miracle, if you will, which makes it almost like a fairy tale. Now, okay, her hand opens up here, whereas Dee Dee's hand, in a similar situation, remained a fist. She never opened her hand up all the way. So this is the development of that character, from the closed fist of Dee Dee to the open hand, whatever, how do you put it, anyway, this is totally impossible, but it's fun anyway. It's fun anyway. Of course, the impact would kill you, the heat blast would kill you, the steam would cook you, you'd be fried in a heartbeat, but that's beside the point. Oh, and I love this. If a volcano were to go off like this and sink into the sea, that much water and that much lava all at one time, it's going to be Krakatoa all over. Nothing within 200 miles is going to be alive. Trust me. So this is fun. This is just pure fun. It's impossible. Is right. Yeah, this would totally.
God.
It would be a huge cataclysm. It wouldn't slowly sink into the sea quietly. It might, for a little bit, yes, but ultimately it would be massive. It's just, I'm sorry, physics, I go there periodically. And, okay, now we're going to have to deal with the fact that they're floating around in the sea and how they're going to survive.
Well, this was Joe's trial by fire, and
he did it.
He did it, but I mean, what do you think? What do you think that means? The fact that this whole movie's been building up to Joe versus the volcano, and he does it. He takes that leap, and the volcano shoots him out.
The volcano was fear. He faced his fear. He did it. He took the jump. He went into and dealt with it. So he won. The Volcano did not. If he had run away, yeah, then he would have lost. But he faced it. The fear is the Volcano.
Fear is the only enemy, the true enemy.
In this case, you know, so that's what it. So that's why Shanley laughs at the end, because whoever it was that asked the question, he couldn't tell him. You didn't see it without insulting him.
It's kind of a romantic lighting scheme they have with the lantern set up between them, the lighting dancing on their faces in the water.
And of course, you know. She's they're both amazingly clean, and of course that satin gown is in immaculate condition again for what it's just been through. I just love it.
Yeah, at this point you may have almost forgotten that he had a brain cloud until it's brought up again right here.
Okay, and now okay, she's about to identify Dr. Ellis as a quack. And of course, a quack and the ducks and the doctors ties them all together. So I guess it's a verbal connection rather than a pictorial connection.
Well, you know, a duck, as with witches and very small rocks, are things that float.
You mean set me up?
Yeah. That wasn't nearly as funny as you're making that out to be.
Okay. Well, that was good. Very small. I like that one. Yes. Hooray for Monty Python. Here we go.
Okay.
You thought I didn't forget that. You thought I forgot that, didn't you? Of course.
Joe has just said, "My whole life has been a dupe."
So but now she's telling him, you know, you got your whole life ahead of you. Yeah. You faced your fear. You came through it. You have your whole life ahead of you. So. Of course, he's still not sure with what he's going to do with it. You know, how he's going to deal with it.
But still.
And of course, they're floating. Of course, now they're married. Of course, he didn't really expect that to last for more than 30 seconds. But now he's going to. I think he says he's going to. Where are you going to go, or something like that? And he says, "Oh, away from the things of man." This was the line that she uses earlier in the movie. That's where she wants to go, is away from the things of man. Of course, the luggage is important. It saved him twice. It's a life raft. Being prepared.
Hell, away from the things of man.
That's just about where it ends. Away from the things of man. Yes.
And the moon.
Okay, and of course,
again.
I love the moon again. Of course, now here the moon is a little bit more closer to the
reality,
true visual size. Even now, it's very large.
Big, yeah.
It's not as big.
Close out, and
they lived happily ever after. Now, of course, that's the other mistake, okay, because that's how a fairy tale ends, and they lived happily ever after. Oh, so everybody says, oh, it's just a silly fairy tale. It's another reason people have made that jump in error. And it's unfortunate because many fables have that connection, but it's just not the way it works. Now we're into the...
We've reached the end credits here. Now you had some things you wanted to talk about?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, I've made some notes. I've got some notes here. You're going to hear the page rattle. Can't help that.
Okay.
Okay. And if you take these, I'm going to take these lines basically as near as I could, quote them right out of the movie in the sequence that they were given, and you'll see that he's trying to communicate something to you or to the audience, and we're going to go there. Okay, first, we're talking about in the doctor's office, Ellison's office. He's talking about his traumatic experiences. You face death several times and so on, and Joe says yes. Okay, this is a reference, I believe, to when Joe was not Joe, but when Shanley was in the Marines, quite probably in Vietnam. And he goes. Then you see the scene in the restaurant with Dee Dee. And he says, "Who am I? Who are you? What other questions are you?" You know, these are self-analyzing philosophical questions, which is where Joe was at this point. He's analyzing himself and trying to, and he's sharing that with you. He says, I've analyzed myself. I'm asking these are tough questions. And one point, as Marshall, Shanley will tell you, I'm not here to tell you who you are. Okay, that's Marshall, but that's Shanley saying those words to the audience. And again, Marshall says later on, it's taken me all my life to find out who I am. Of course, anybody who analyzes them, it always takes all of their life to find out where they are. No matter what point they find out in their life or wherever they say that, it takes all their life because they're constantly learning new things about themselves. At least I hope so. And then Joe says, no one's paying you to give me this this advice. And that's Shanley telling you, says, I'm giving you this advice for free. I'm telling you what I've learned, and I'm telling you for free. And then there's the point where Joe will say, there's certain times in your life where you're not supposed to have anyone. Certain doors you got to go through alone. This is a realization he's come to, and he came to much earlier, when he, which is why he wrote this movie. Or the screenplay. He's telling you that there are times when ultimately, whatever it is you're doing, you're going to have to do it by yourself. Nobody can do it for you or with you. Doesn't matter what it is, you're going to wind up doing it by yourself. And Marshall says, you're going to be all right. Okay, because you've got it and you figured it out. You're gonna have to be alone. You're gonna have to make it. And then of course there's the time when he's talking to what's her name? Angelica? Yeah. And he says, there's only so much time. So here I am talking to you. And that's Shanley telling you, says, there's only so much time. So I'm talking to the audience, as well as talking to Angelica. Says, there's only so much time. I'm talking to you, telling you what I found out. When part of what he found out is almost the whole world is asleep. Only a few people are awake. And it's true. Most people just walk along and just trying to put food on the table, keep a roof over their head. They're so wrapped up in their itty-bitty personal lives, they don't have a clue what's going on in the big world, because it's huge, and they're a very minuscule, insignificant part. But that's just an image that I have. And then the closing comment was, "Dear God, thank you for my life," which is what he says before he passes out. And
it's okay. You can keep. Well, the movie has ended. You can keep going. Okay.
But that was it. He's trying to tell you a story. Now I have to admit, I saw, what is it? Moonlight. What is it? What's the other movie? Moonstruck. Years ago. I saw it only once, but if I remember correctly, it was frequently a similar pattern, not necessarily the same message. I would have to look at it again to determine that, but I think it was the same type of situation where he's trying to communicate a message. Granted, he wasn't the director of that, so he didn't have the control that he had in this movie. Thank you, Mr. Spielberg, for allowing him, for funding this, I believe. So he had a lot to do with it. But anyway, that, I think, is about all I want to say at this point. I've been running away at the mouth now for a little over an hour and a half.
All right. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps us up. Did you have any further closing comments about the movie in general?
Only that I wish it could come back out again on the big screen with enough foresight. People, so they would realize that this is not just some silly romantic
which was
comedy,
which
is how it was mistakenly described.
Which was one of the reasons why I urged you to do this commentary, so people could get a second look at this movie.
Yeah, and I think it's
because during its initial release, it was dismissed.
It was panned badly by the critics, and unjustly so. And it just irks me. And
well, hopefully, with this commentary, other people who like the film will be able to sit back and enjoy the film with other people who love it as well, and see those subtleties in it that Shanley put in the movie.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm Josh.
I'm John.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.